and you can still Hey, in this video, I'm going to be talking about the Fitbit Charge 3 Special Edition. So far, I think it's an amazing product, and with a couple more software updates, I think it's going to be a really compelling fitness tracker. Continue watching to find out more. So I've been a long time user of the Pebble Time and the Huawei Watch 2, and both these watches are really fantastic. They both have an always-on display. The Huawei Watch has a ton of features. It's running Wear OS, so as a Java developer, it's really fun to build apps. The Pebble Time was really easy to use, had a decent long battery life, but none of them were really swim-proof, and I think that the Fitbit Charge 3 kind of comes in between both the watches in terms of features and terms of its form factor. And unfortunately, Pebble went out of business and they were acquired by Fitbit. So it naturally led me to, looking into the Fitbit Charge. I've been doing a ton of research on fitness trackers, and there are so many. There's the cheap Chinese brands like the Huawei, then you have the more expensive like Apple Watches and the Garmin. So then why did I pick the Fitbit Charge 3? Well, aside from not wanting a bulky smartwatch, there are two reasons. One is Fitbit Pay, and the other is the SpO2 sensor. Okay, so what is Fitbit Pay? Well, I've been really accustomed to Wear OS's Google Pay, and I like to be able to leave my wallet at home, my phone at home while I go to the gym, and then when I leave the gym, I can just go to the grocery store and pick up some food on the way. So it's really convenient to not have to carry your wallet and your phone on you all the time when you want to make purchases. And the reason why the SpO2 sensor is so important to me is because I have sleep apnea, and sleep apnea is just a condition where you stop breathing when you're actually sleeping. And I wear this mask. It's called CPAP therapy, and I want to be able to compare the results of the CPAP therapy with the SpO2 readings. But here's the thing, none of those actually work for me right now. That really sucks. This is completely ridiculous. Apparently, Fitbit is working on a sleep beta app that I hope includes the SpO2 sensor readings, but I'm not part of that beta, and I am not sure how to get in. I really hope that they release this feature sooner than later, because this is the main reason why I chose the Fitbit Charge 3. Now, of course, Garmin already has this feature available, and it's codenamed Pulse Ox. And if Garmin can have this on their Vivo Smart fitness trackers, why can't Fitbit do the same thing too? They can go through the same regulations and put in the work to get it out, to get this feature out. So please, Fitbit, if you're listening to this video, I really need this feature. Now, and for Fitbit Pay, the reason why it doesn't work for me currently is I live in Canada, and in Canada, we adopt technology very slowly. Currently, there are only three banks supporting Fitbit Pay in Canada, and two of them are very esoteric. I've signed up with Brim Financial, which is a startup in Toronto. It's a startup based on credit cards, and they apparently work with Fitbit Pay. So I've applied, and I'm waiting for my application to be approved, and I will keep you posted if this financial institution actually works with Fitbit Pay. So let's talk about the physical aspect of this watch. And I really like how light it is and how small it is. You barely notice it when you're sleeping. It's really small, and it's really light. It's around 30 grams, and compared to watches like this, these are like 57 grams, and they can go way heavier. This is really important for me. Something that is unobtrusive and easy to wear day to day all the time. I really think they nailed this, and it feels really good on the wrist. And I think part of that are the straps. The straps are really good quality. The rubber or the silicone that's provided is really nice. What's even cooler is that how it's so easy to disconnect and reconnect them. You just take it out like that, and you just plop it back in. Do that. One thing I really don't like is the strap that comes in the special edition, and it's the white strap. You have the other choice of the lavender woven, which is like a soft polyester. And I like that material, but the color is pretty feminine. And I do think the white watch is still pretty feminine. And it does look like a toy. And it really screams like, hey, I got a Fitbit. Everyone look at me. I got a Fitbit. Come take it, I prefer the black textured design strap. It comes with all the special editions. So you get two straps, the special strap and then the regular black strap. And I really think it's unfortunate because, if I want to get, the sports band, with the perforated, the holes, or the lavender one, the gray lavender one, which is more custom for me, I have to go out and spend another $40. So I really wish Fitbit would offer different options for the special edition on straps. I really do think that sucks, and I might even email them and ask them, hey, can I trade in my white special edition strap for the black one or a gray woven one. For the OLED display, I find it pretty big enough, and with the all black design, the large bezels are also black. It makes the screen seem bigger than it is, and I'm able to read notifications no problem. So I like the OLED display. Another cool feature about the OLED screen is that you can use pretty thin winter gloves, and they don't need the special touchscreen coating on the tips, and you can still use it. So for some gloves it works pretty well. It's pretty sensitive, so that's a big plus in the winter time. Let's talk about things that I don't really like about the watch, and the first biggest one, I think this might hit a lot of people, is this isn't an always on display. And as a basic watch, I think this is a super important feature, because you don't want to be having to tilt your arm kind of like doing this all the time. There's two ways to do it. One is that you can hold the button on the left side to turn on the screen. You could double tap, or you obviously can do the tilt gesture. And sometimes I'm maybe in a meeting and I don't want anyone to see that I'm looking at the time. It would be nice to just be able to glance at it, the watch is down here, I'm just like kind of like that. So that really sucks. It's something to get used to. I can live with it. They should at least let the user maybe enable always on display, and obviously it would sacrifice battery life, but I think this is a really important feature that this watch is missing. So another thing that really annoys me about this watch is that the single button is on the left side, and obviously I wear my watch on my left hand, and I have to use my thumb to you have to squeeze it pretty hard to activate the button. So you squeeze it, and it just doesn't feel very intuitive, or it doesn't feel very comfortable. And especially in certain situations where you're navigating through menus, you have to use the button to exit quite often. And I find that it's I feel like the motion is not as intuitive if I could use my index finger, which is a lot more nimble. So just pressing that instead of this. So, the Apple Watch, my Huawei watch, all the buttons are on the right side of the watch face as opposed to the left side. So I think this is kind of annoying, and you can't also, rotate the screen 180 degrees so that the button appears on the right side. You can't do that with the current software. I'll say one thing about the button though. I really like that it's very responsive. The haptic feedback when you squeeze it feels really, really good. And obviously it's not a real button. And they made it so that this watch can be swim-proof, which is a really important feature that I was looking for in this watch as well. Okay, so moving on to software. Swipe down for notifications. Swipe up to see all your stats. And here you don't really interact with it. You can see your battery life at the top, and then if you scroll down, you can see your steps, your goals, your heart rate, calories burned, stairs climbed, sleep tracking, and whatnot. So water and all that stuff. Some of these items at the bottom here, you have to use the phone app to turn on. Here you can see the watch face up here at the top. You'll see that there is my steps, and this is the current time. It's 2:21 a.m. and November 10th. And if you swipe to the right, you can get all the apps. Here there are 6 apps, and you can't install any other apps. You can't rearrange the order, which kind of sucks, because sometimes I just want to check the weather and I don't really care about these other apps, right? So I have to swipe 2 times to get to the weather. And then here's the weather app. Pretty nice. Going into the settings, you can change the brightness, you can change the vibration intensity, and you can turn off the heart rate. And I wonder if turning this off would actually improve the battery life for more than 7 days. And notifications during sleep, you can probably just want to have that off. This is the current version information here. So to get to more options, you can long press the side button. And here you can enable or disable the screen wake feature, which is like theater mode. And you can also enable or disable notifications. And then if you swipe to the right, this is where your Fitbit Pay card selection is. Well, let's talk about watch faces. Unfortunately, there's a very few selection of watch faces available. And they show your time, the date, and sometimes heart rate or pedometer. But things like a weather complication is not available, so that kind of sucks. I really wish that they would open this to third-party developers so that they can design different types of watch faces. Okay, so for notifications, I'm using Android and it's fantastic. I'm really impressed with the real estate on the screen. I'm able to read notifications on such a small watch. Swipe down and here you can see all your notifications. And you can see that they're pretty legible. So if I tap this, I get into more details. You can kind of see the title and some more of a description, and you always have the option to open the app or clear the notification. This notification isn't very interesting because it doesn't have any Android's inline action, so let's just hit clear. And let's go, say, to the most recent one here. Now you can see obviously the details, but what's really cool, and I really like this, is all the inline action. So you can clear the timer. This is a Transit Now app basically. It tells you when the next bus is coming. And you can hit the refresh button, you can open the app, you can clear the alert. So like refresh, for example, just sends another notification here. Now, this is kind of like a conversation, like a text conversation. You can see it's updating a notification for the same context. And you can imagine this is a conversation and we're chatting and there's just so many text messages, but really on the phone, on the actual phone device, on the actual phone, there's just one notification. So kind of sucks, right? But here, at least you can just clear the most recent one. Let's say that's clearing the timer. This is more like the real clear, so clear it. And I scroll down, and you just saw they all disappeared. So it's good because if you clear one of the related notifications, all of the other related notifications are cleared as well. So it's kind of like grouped in that manner. So yeah, notifications are really cool and very handy when you want to reply to a text message, and you can use the quick inline replies, and you can customize what you want to say back in the message in the Fitbit phone app. Now, one little annoying thing is the back navigation of the notification. So let's say I tap into a notification here, and I have all the details and all the cool inline actions and whatnot. And let's say I want to get out. I can't swipe. Intuitively, I think I would swipe to get out, to leave the notification, but I have to press this side button here. And it's a little awkward. So press that, and exit. And then if I want to get this, just exit that right there. So I kind of wish they would take advantage of more swipe gestures. Like for example, swiping here would have been nice if I could swipe to the right and maybe get my weather or some kind of like a Google Assistant, where it gives you some contextual information. They could really use this real estate here. So now this is really important, and it's the always vibrate feature. And basically, you want to be able to have your phone in silent mode, but still have haptic feedback on this device. So to do that, you need to enable it, and then here it can be silent. And if you really want to disable the notifications, you just long press the side button, and here you can just disable it. Right now it's disabled. You have more control on the device itself. So the selection of exercises is pretty limited, as you can see. It doesn't allow you to add any custom workouts. Let's say you do rock climbing and you want to do that, track that type of exercise. Unfortunately, you can't do that. Unlike Google Fit, which has so many exercises, the exercise app is pretty limited. And what's worse is that the strength training app or the weightlift app is kind of useless, in my opinion. And what I mean by useless, it doesn't really do much other than track your calories spent, the time, and your heart rate. It doesn't really do anything for you in terms of weightlifting, which I think is really unfortunate, because the Google Fit app can basically track any type of movement. You're doing a push-up or you're doing squat, it can detect that, and it can count your reps, and it can help you by setting a timer in between your sets. And I really wish Fitbit could do something like that. I mean, what's the point of having all these sensors, accelerometer, if you're just going to simply track the time track the duration of my workout? Like, what does that really tell me? It doesn't really tell me much. I want to be able to track reps. So this really sucks. And if they put more development into their software, I think they could I think they could create something really cool and more innovative than what they have now. So I think I'm just really disappointed with the software for the exercise apps. Just very, very primitive. So there's other things. You can set your alarm. device lock is for Fitbit Pay. We'll get into that once we set up Fitbit Pay. Here you can change the order of your exercises. Now here you can see the sleep tracking. So far it's been doing a really good job of tracking my sleep. I haven't tested naps and I really want to test that. Gives you, different stages of your sleep, REM, light, and deep sleep. It's been fairly accurate compared to the Huawei watch, which does a really good job of tracking sleep as well. It detected my nap, but since my nap was less than 3 hours, it had no reports on REM or deep sleep. Okay, and moving on, here are just your kind of types of exercises that you've done. This is one here was auto-tracked, which was really cool because it was longer than 15 minutes. I biked for 17 minutes, it just tracked that. Very neat. And of course, this uses your connected GPS. It doesn't have an onboard GPS, it uses your phone GPS. And things like your weight and your water consumption, unfortunately you can't do that from the watch. You kind of have to open your phone, open this app, and then add it yourself, which is, I kind of wish they would expand the software. So like I said, I think the software needs to improve on the Fitbit Charge 3. Now for battery life, it's rated at 7 days, and I've got the watch on Tuesday, so Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, so about 4 nights already. Right now I'm at 55% battery, so we're looking around 8 days if the battery rate continues. And I've been using this watch a lot. I've been doing a lot of exercises, receiving a lot of notifications, and just playing around with it a lot. So far I'm pretty impressed with the battery life, and I think it will hold the 7-day battery life. I'll keep you posted if that isn't the fact. Now for heart rate and step accuracy, I haven't seen any crazy issues. I'm not crazy particular on this because I think these watches are more for consumer-based, general-based trends. They're not going to be, medical-grade devices. So it's been doing a decent job compared to my Huawei Watch 2, so no issues around that. I just really wish they give us access to the SpO2 sensor. The charger is kind of interesting. It has a clip mechanism instead of a typical magnetic clipping mechanism, and you have to just kind of like get it in right. So it's not the best. It does help keep the watch light without forcing it to have magnet. In summary, I think this watch is pretty damn cool. It's super light, it's a minimalist design, doesn't have all those crazy advanced features as smartwatch, but it isn't as primitive as just a basic watch. I can live with some of the annoyances like the button placement or the lack of always on display, but they really better support more banks through Fitbit Pay in Canada, and please give us access to the SpO2 sensor tracking metrics and stuff like that. So if they can solve those two items, and I think with more software iterations, more updates, it can be a really compelling watch on the market. So that's it for now. Stay subscribed. I'll post my video about Fitbit Pay once I get my credit card application approved. And thanks for watching. Please give a like and share your questions or comments down below. See you in the next video.